Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Dad's here today, preview for this weekend's game against Hull. Dad, what do you think of them?
Well, first and foremost, what a fantastic effort of Burnley in the week. I know that you went, under normal circumstances, I'd go. I thought that we looked the better team. I think that the fact that Scotty Parker got sent off at full time suggests that he wasn't happy. He just thought that we were going to turn up, roll into town and get rolled over ourselves, but it wasn't to be. I think that it just goes to show that against the bigger teams, we do raise our game. So coming to the Hull game, it makes you wonder whether or not they've got that within themselves. I think it'll be a 1-0 victory. I do have to say I'm not very happy about the pelters that the goalie's getting. I think that, unfortunately, being a goalkeeper, you're the last line of defence, and so if you're going to make a mistake, it's going to be highlighted. I personally think he shouldn't have been put in the positions that he does on a regular basis. I think that in Carl Bartley, we've got the elder states. I like Carl Bartley. I think he's a sound head. I think he's a seasoned professional. He knows what to do. I think that some of the players now are looking brilliant. I think that just goes to show that John Swift, wow, what a strike down.
Yeah, I'm going to speak about John Swift because, of course, like very quick, what you just said then midweek was unbelievable. Of course, I don't think they've conceded a goal this year, Burnley, at home. I think the last goal was in December against Watford, I'm pretty sure. So to score, a quality goal like that, yes. We could have more, Dad. I thought John Swift was the main person in the team, really, who showed a bit about him. I think he's been a changed player under Mowbray. I don't know what it is. But he's been so much better. And I think he's one of those players where when he's really playing, I think we spoke to a Reading fan ages ago, when he's playing, the whole team's playing with him. And when he's not, the whole team's not playing with him. And at the moment, it's really, really working. And one player I think I was really pleased to see was Diakite. I thought he was unbelievable. I think Chris put a comment down below saying about how good he was. And he probably was our man of the match. I'm not even too sure if we'll get into this weekend's team, guys. What were your thoughts? Because I think there's so many players at the moment that are stepping up to the play. Of course, there was no Carl Barley. And that was a massive miss against Burnley, wasn't it, Dad? And I think Diakite really stepped in to that position, especially with the 5-back that we had. Of course, as Furlong's not there at the moment, Mason Holgate, I think he's stepping up really, really well. But I think what Mowbray's doing at the moment, Dad, is, as he said past press conferences, the fact that he's getting that inner childhood attacking player out of the players. Because personally, if a Carlos Corberan team goes to Burnley and plays a Carlos Corberan style of football, we lose that game. If it's Mowbray, we get something out of it. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm not having you dissing Carlos Corberan because we did go with Carlos Corberan and we're unlucky not to win. I think the difference is Tony Mowbray is a seasoned professional and he's probably got the most experience out of all the Championship managers, if not the Premiership managers. I just think that the long absence from the game, and fingers crossed his health is good. I know it's not brilliant, but it's good. I think he's lost time, and I think that he's had time to reflect on his managerial style. And I think the players welcome it. I think that they're not treated like soldiers. It's not regimented. It brings a bit of realism.
Togetherness, family.
Yeah. Bear in mind that he's been a top player. He's been a top manager. He's been there. He's done it. He's been in Scotland in the pressure cooker of Celtic. So he knows what it's all about. He knows when to turn the screws, when not to. I think that it's paying dividends, his work on the training ground. I mean, I would suggest that they welcome the change. I think how long it's going to last for, I don't know. But I'm going to be bold enough to say that I think it's between us and Coventry with the playoff place. I think that as a team, if we can go to Leeds and Burnley and come away with a point, that suggests that we've got it in our locker to mix it with the big boys. I think that silly little things like the sending off of Furlong, I think it's a contentious one. But even now, I'm still none the wiser as a referee.
I'm glad you brought that up, Dad, because I think big shout out to Carl Swain and Neil brought down the comment section down below. Of course, with the decision against Furlong, Dad, of course, we both weren't there, unfortunately, for that game. But there's no showing on the footage of what happened. All we see is there's a player on the floor and Furlong's done something. Whether it's intentional, it might be, and it's a red card. But what my question is to you, Dad, is because, of course, against Burnley, after the full-time whistle, the referee didn't see what happened, and he sent off CJ Riley. And, of course, it's caused a whole thing where Scott Parker's also been sent off. CJ Riley's now had that booking rescinded and now he's not being banned. But, of course, Furlong still got the ban, but we don't have clear enough evidence to show that it was a red card. But what do you do at that point?
We just got to move on. I don't think that Furlong's that kind of player. He's probably got it in, but he's not that kind of. I've never seen him do anything like that would deserve a send-off. But you know what? Sometimes it goes against you. I just think now that we're going to have games where he's not going to be there. I think that we've got enough strength in depth to sort it all out. I tend to think that he might have to fight for his place to get back in.
Yeah, especially Mason Holgate playing really, really well. Well, I was going to ask you quickly.
But I think that as a defender, he's caught wanting at times, so the break will probably do him the world of good. But on, crack on, otherwise I'd forgot.
No, sorry, that's butting because I was talking about the whole decision of the referee against Furlong on the red card. Do you think, I know it's like a big opinion really, has the standard of refereeing gone down or was it still at a decent level, would you say, at the moment in time?
Decent level, but listen, anybody who knocks referees, i.e. you, right, try doing it. It's the hardest thing on the planet, and you've got the crowd amongst you. You've got the benches having a go at you. You've got the players having a go at you. You're only human. If the players didn't make mistakes, there would be no need for referees. And let's not forget, right? I've got to be me bonnet about the refs. I've been one myself. I've been there and I've done it. Right, move on, because they're allowed to make mistakes, and as referees, they do even it up. I think that everybody's jumping on the backs of referees. I mean, I met a couple of refs the weekend, which I'll show you some pictures. Listen, right, they're allowed to make mistakes. If they continually make mistakes on Albion games, then yeah, I think the level of refereeing, right, my gut feeling is, yeah, they're making a few howlers, but you know why they're making howlers? Because the spotlight's on them, the TV cameras are on them, the debates on them. They've got ex-referees in the studios having a knock at them, earning some money. They've got players. I'd like to see some of these pundits actually referee a game, because I can God's honestly tell you, Dan, it is the hardest thing I've ever done. You've got to have eyes in the back of your neck. And let's remember, they're grown adults, they're not bloody kids. But anyway.
No, I'm glad you said that, Dad. Because of referees in general, I think you've got to think about, would you rather have referees giving a few dodgy decisions here and there or bringing VAR to the Championship? Because personally, I know what I'd rather have, because while VAR might be good, I don't want it for the Championship because I prefer it completely without it.
I don't think there's anything worse than VAR, because if a goal is scored and you celebrate and then it's not given, and no, it takes away the spontaneity of things, and I think it takes away the whole essence of what football's all about. I mean, in the Premiership, no doubt about it, it's a business, isn't it? And I think in the Championship, I actually think it's more exciting than the Premiership. I mean, look at the table. If you look at the top 10, probably even more than that, any one of them are capable of getting into the playoffs. I think that now is going to be the time where there's going to be some freakish results. We'll be included in it as well, where there'll be twists and turns, bumps in the road, we'll slip up. I think now is the time collectively as Albion fans to get behind the team, no matter what. Don't have a go at the keeper. Don't start booing when things don't go your way. Because I've been guilty of it in the past. But I'll tell you what, in Mowbray, right, he's going to get us over the line. Mark my words, here and now, the date. What's the date? It's the 14th, isn't it? 14th of March. I'm predicting we're in the playoffs. Simple as that.
Guys, what are your thoughts on that? Comment down in the comment section down below, and the referees in general. But going back to positivity, Dad, I thought the performance again was unbelievable. I was really, really pleased, because if you look at it, Dad, against the sides in the top 5, we haven't lost. We haven't won one against top 4 sides, but we've drawn every single one. And as you've said, it proves that we can go toe-to-toe with the best in the league. And especially if we were to get in the playoffs, we've got nothing to fear. And I think, again, it showed that players are really stepping up. One player who has really stepped up for me, Dad, is Callum Styles. That, I think it was a ball into the box in the second half, and he somehow put it past, I think it was Marcus Edwards, put it past the post to stop a certain goal. He stopped that, and I think we went up the other end, and Mikey Johnson could have scored. Things like that, we could have won the game. Going to Burnley, nearly winning, is a really good achievement in itself, which we probably should have and could have done. I thought we were really, really good.
Go on. I thought we edged it. I think, to be honest with you, now we're not totally reliant on a couple of players. I mean, we've got Armstrong, we've got a rejuvenated Swift and Wallace, we've got Diakite, we've got Price, we've got a players in abundance, and I think that now's the time. I don't think Daryl Dike is going to get back into the squad. I don't.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because, of course, they brought in all Lancashire. But I've got to say again, because I know you disagree with me, but I really, really don't think if we went there with Carlos Corberan type of side and we sit back against if we sit back against a Burnley side, Dad, they come at us and we will lose 2-1. If we have a Mowbray side that go attacking football against them.
No, I am not having you have a go at King Carlos. Listen, now he's gone, everybody's like, no, I totally disagree with you, 100% disagree with you. Dan, I was there with you a couple of seasons ago when we should have won. A few dodgy decisions got us into hot water. But listen, I'm not having you knock Carlos Corberan.
I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, with a Mowbray style of football at the moment where it's really attacking, and rather than getting a goal and sitting back, we're going to keep pushing for the second, or maybe even step back a little bit, but still go for it. Because of the different style of football against these bigger sides, Dad, at the moment, it is proving that we're doing a lot better. You might not agree. I personally think that, and you see it in the results we're getting against the higher people on the table. What are your thoughts, guys? I've got to say it.
Well, I can tell you some. The people to blame are the players, because if they've got it in them and they didn't bring it to the party with Corberan, they've been like silly little schoolboys. I'm not having you slag Carlos Corberan. Listen, right? No, I'm not having you do it, Dan, because beyond the scenes,
I'm not slating him. I'm just having an opinion because while I think Carlos Corberan was absolutely brilliant for us, there's a difference, Dad, because with a championship style of football, right, and listen to me here, because I think it's spot on, personally. Let's see what you think, guys.
Yeah.
No, but listen. With the style of football we play in the championship, you want to play attacking style of football because the teams are good, but they're not good enough as Prem sides. When you go to the Premier League, if you get to the Premier League, that's when, if you notice, the teams like your Southamptons, your Ipswiches, who plays really when they play this attacking foreign football, they can't play it in the Prem because the teams are so better than them. So that's why Carlos Corberan is suited more like a Prem side who sit back and attack. But at this moment in time, Mowbray's football is perfect for us. There you go, done deal.
Listen, well, he says deal on the back of your shirt over there, but listen, whilst everybody's allowed their opinions, did we go there with the same players that Carlos Corberan had? No, we didn't. We had more attacking flair. We had an Armstrong. We had players, right, who want it more. So, no, I'll agree to disagree. I still love you, but I am not having you slate Corberan. No, I'm not. You make him out to be some kind of painter and decorator who just puts his ladders.
No. I'm not slating now. I'll just disagree with the point you're making. I think another contentious one was, of course, Joe Wildsmith's dropping of the ball for their goal. Of course, it's not the greatest on him, Dad. But again, you still keep.
Hey! Stop knocking people. Listen. But have you been a goalkeeper? No. Have you played in the Premier? No. I've got to ask you this question. Whoa. It's the easiest thing in the world to come out and fumble balls. It's the defender's job to make sure that he doesn't get in the shit in the first place. Yes, he was at fault, but I'm not going to highlight it because there's been games where he's been absolutely top draw. So listen. We don't live in a perfect world. We're not a perfect team. We're all human beings. And if you ever go at the goalie like that again, well, I'll just turn the camera off because I'm not having you doing it because. No. Whoa. So, but one thing I will give you credit for, Tony Mowbray said exactly the same as you. Right, okay, so I drop him, and I'll bring in the other keeper. I forget his name because you've wound me up that much. And he has a clanger. What does he do? Go back to the first person that he dropped? No. So I'm not having you slate King Carlos. I'm not having you slate the bloody goalkeeper. We're a team. We win together, we lose together, and we pick one another up. Yeah, we do not dig people out on here, right? Because it's not fair.
No, it's not fair. It's not fair.
Whoa, hang on. I am pretty sure the supporters across the land, our boys and girls who travel everywhere, that they make mistakes on a daily basis. Because I know that you do. You get absolutely pissed out of your head and start talking. Yeah, so listen. Sitting back from where I've been, yes, I'd like to say he could have done better, but I'm not going to dig him out.
No, I don't think it's worth thinking about. But of course, the goal
Yeah,
I've got to talk about it. I've got to talk about it because the goal they scored was because of the mistake he made. And I
oh,
was about to
yada
say,
yada
I was
yada.
about to say, of course, I wouldn't bring Josh Griffiths in, guys. Because what would you do? Would you bring Josh Griffiths in? Again, I think we have the same opinion. I wouldn't. I know he's dropping clangers, but if he keeps playing game above game and he gets more confidence rather than he's dropping his clangers, if he's doing it consistently week in, week out,
Yeah,
then it's time for a change. But
yeah.
realistically, as you just said then, he's made what? I would say maybe one, if two clangers. And don't get me wrong, it was a bad goal to concede. But at the end of the day, as you said, he's only human, Eddie. He's only human. And I think if he
Oh,
stays
it's pretty
goal,
changed you too. You like a
I'm not.
bleeding.
No, because you didn't let me finish. You didn't let me finish. You didn't let me finish. If he keeps playing in goal, he's going to get the more confidence. And I think at this point in the season, you want to start with a one goalkeeper rather than having to switch around. Because you said, as Tony Mowbray said, if you bring in Josh Griffiths and he makes a mistake, it changes everything. Everything.
Yeah. You know where? I'm joking apart. You know where we're all allowed opinions, and I don't disagree. Just that I feel sorry for the goalkeepers. I think where we went wrong is we should have put Griffiths in right from the get-go when Palmer went, and from there, because right, that could have an adverse effect on him. Why bring a player back from loan, right, as a club and not playing? Why not leave him there to get match day experience? Because it's pretty clear to me that Wildsmith, right, he hasn't had game time with that intensity, and it's showing because he's rusty. His thinking is not that quick, and I think the reason why is because he's still getting himself back into the groove. And I stress, yes, it was a terrible goal to give away, but why was he put in that position in the first place? What were the players thinking? When a player gets a ball and he's coming towards goal, he ain't gonna suddenly shoot at the corner flag. He's going for goal, so protect the goalkeeper. But it's a beautiful thing. Football is we've all got different opinions.
Definitely.
I just think that he himself will know that he should have done better.
Yeah.
I think that he's only going to make another clanger, and his confidence will be rock bottom. And the last thing we need at such a pivotal moment in the season is going into a game where you watch the next game against Hull, they'll be peppering that goalkeeper. And so
that's what he can show his worth, really, can't he? I've got to speak to you as well about this, Dad, because I think a lot of people are silent. I'm not too sure yet, because I think there's still more to come from. I think we said it in many videos, Dad. There's a lot more to come from Adam Armstrong. Of course, he had that one chance where he could have scored against Burnley, but of course, he got that penalty goal against QPR, so he still has a lot of confidence. He has a lot of quality in him. We can see it week in, week out. But what's going wrong? Why isn't he scoring the amount of goals we expect him to at this moment in time?
You raised a really good point there.
I think John Wainwright said it, didn't he, in the comment section?
He did, yeah. John. Well, put it this way, John and Carl and many of our regulars. Without them, where would we be? And once I get better, Dan, I'm going to give the presents that we've arranged for him. I'll tell you one, coming back to Armstrong. Yeah, it's a bit of a mystery to me. The only thing I can think of, if trying to put a sensible take on it, is he's probably still settling in. He's had to move up lock, stock and barrel to the Albion. He has to integrate himself into the dressing room. I think he's a big character by all accounts. And I think he's a bit of a Charlie Austin character. He's got a lot to say for himself, which is fantastic. But one thing we must trust in is Tony Mowbray sees them day in, day out. He knows their nuances. He knows what makes them tick. He knows what makes them... He's leaving Adam... What would you rather do? Leave Adam Armstrong out or leave him in and let him get this Barron spell out of the way?
Yeah. Because I think he's got the quality, as we've said many times. And then he said he's a character. Because I put on screen now, of course, they were the Cheltenham races, weren't they? And I think you can see that there is a togetherness, Dad. And I think the more and more we play, again, he has a one chance of scoring, I think. I know he hasn't been bagging them, but when he's on form, you know he's on form.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think that just to show that I do support and I do love it, I think it just goes to show the man management. This is where I would dig Carlos out. He wouldn't have allowed him to go to Cheltenham. But one thing I will say is Tony Mowbray knows what makes players tick. So he's probably thinking, you know what, they've just come off a real decent run, gone to Leeds, gone to Burnley, and we've done all right. Let them go and have a bit of fun, because as a manager, there's nothing better than galvanising your staff, and that's what they are to Tony Mowbray, getting that in it together, spirit. So if they're on the pitch together and they're having winning and losing together, they bring that onto the field. Money can't buy that.
Yes, and when you said that, now on to Hull, Dad. I was going to speak about the fact that Mowbray has made these slight changes every game. and it's really, really worked. And I think it's a really good Hull side at the moment, I think, on the Sellers. They're a completely changed team. I really like Joe Gallagher. I think he's a lot to prove, and I think Kamara on the wing, he's a really, really good player as well. And I think Pedro, luckily he's not starting, Dad, because he's got that red card, if you remember. So I think when we went to Hull last time, they had something about, but they didn't. I think they had Tim Walters manager, so they weren't playing as well. But Ruben Sellers as the coach is really good, and now they'll jump out of the relegation zone. Of course, they've got some good results on the belt, but again, against Albion, it's not always good. But how do you think it could turn out, as you said?
I think that this is going to be our undoing. I think as the draw specialist, I actually think it's going to be a tight game. As I said, I think it'll be 1-0. I think that we've got to get out of this, not arrogance, but status with the Albion, Hull can turn up and we'll turn them out. No, because our track record suggests that it ain't going to be easy. It's funny, and it's like you before you had your girlfriend, you go out, give it the big one, thinking you can score with anybody, and suddenly you realise that, you know what, you can't, because there's loads of other people out there wanting the same thing. But what I'm trying to say is just be careful what you wish for, because, right, Hull, yeah, they're bottom of the league, but have we got a good record against the bottom of the league?
Yeah, against the sides. Of course, they're out the relegation, aren't they, Dad? So they're going to have a bit of confidence. And now they're getting a couple of wins in the belt. Of course, they're going to try and really push on and push on. So this weekend...
Sorry to butt in. I'll tell you something. It's really, really tight at the bottom. Some of the freakish results.
I know, yeah. I think it was all 3 teams won on the weekend.
Yeah, I know,
the other day. Because I think Plymouth beat Portsmouth. I know Hull won. I think Luton beat Cardiff. And a Derby won again. So I think all of them are winning down the bottom, and Stoke. So realistically, they're fighting for their lives, and it's not going to be an easy test. I know we've won 4 out of the last 5 games at home under Mowbray, but it's going to be a tough one. I mean, if you're going to ask my score prediction, Dad, I'm going to go for... I think we've got to win these type of games if you want to be up there. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 win this weekend. I wouldn't mind a clean sheet, but I think it's going to be a struggle to keep one. I mean, guys, what are your score predictions? Put in the comment section down below. But Dad, is there any changes you would make to the starting lineup?
No, I wouldn't. I will try and keep it. I don't like too much tinkering. I really don't. And I still suggest that Tony Mowbray doesn't know his best 11. And you raised a brilliant point with Armstrong, because on any given day, I'd have him in there. But it makes you wonder, if I was a manager, right, I'll play Armstrong and I'd see if he's had a load of chances that he hasn't belted him away, I'd bring him off.
Yeah, I know, I agree with that, actually, because I think this game is going to be full of chances this weekend. Because I think we spoke about earlier, but Diakite, he was man of the match for me. I think most people's man of the matches in midweek. But I don't think he'll start that.
Ain't it funny though? You actually said he was Bambi on ice.
They've got a song about him. Guys, what is a song about Diakite? Because at Burnley, they were singing a song about him being Bambi on ice, but I couldn't try and learn the words enough. But yeah, I think I don't think he'll start that. I think Bartley will come into the starting 11. I think we'll bring Malumbi back in, but a bit of energy again. I think Miller's back to his best. And I think Mason Holgate's a changed man at right back.
Yeah. You know what it is, Dan? It's all down to Mowbray, I think. You know something? I reckon it's like always me in my old school days when, like when you've got, how can I put it, got certain teachers who would let you get away with a bit. That's Mowbray, where you've got the strong physics teacher like Carlos Corberan. I'm not digging him out, but I'm just saying he's still finding his way in management, I would suggest. I love him to bits and I'm never ever going to slate him. But I think Mowbray's more of a realistic person, and I think that this illness, right, has really changed his outlook in life. He's a lot more laid. He always was laid back. He'll get us to the playoffs, and that's the manager you want in those situations.
Exactly.
And coming back to Armstrong, he's a big time player as well.
But hey, listen, I was surprised if he bags a couple this weekend. I think there'll be a time when you say to me that Albion score goals, and he'll be the man to score them.
I think Big Jace will come back and he'll bang the winner.
Yeah. Because of course he wasn't picked for the Republic of Ireland lineup, was he?
No,
I think it was due to the fact that I think he's had a red card or two, so of course he'd been a ban.
That's good on the Albion because he's going to keep it fit. One thing I will say, sorry for digging you out, just it bloody kills me. I was heartbroken not to go to Leeds, not to go to Burnley. You suddenly realise what you've got when it ain't there, And your blogs, I must confess that the effort and the professionalism that you do, and Becca, you know what, mate, I'm so proud of. You actually, I'll tell you something, without your channel, right, I've watched others, then got a patch on yours, I'm not just saying it because you're my lad. It's just brilliant. It's almost as if you're there.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's missing is me in there. So
No.
listen, I love you. I love I love Beck. I love all. I mean, you know what? We're going to have to dedicate a time to King Carl Swain because some of his the time and effort he puts in. And David Alford-Lane.
Gary Comley, hope to see you this weekend, son.
Gary, you know what? I have days where I just can't walk. I can't promise I'm going to be there, but I'll tell you what, I would love to see you. We're going to have to do some.
Yeah, I hope to see you there, Gary.
But also Lee Burke as well, you know.
Shout out to Lee. There's so many, Dad.
Yeah, there is. I'm going to. Now I've got time on my hands, but we're going to have like a day where we get everybody on to say the bit.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what? I love the Albion. You love the Albion. Everybody loves the Albion.
And we love Carlos Corberan.
Who's our shepherd, Dan?
The Lord is our shepherd.
And who are we?
We are Albion! So we are Albion! Guys, thank you so much for watching this video as always. Like and subscribe and leave your score predictions down below as always. What time is it, Dad?
It's showtime!